Hey guys, this is Ip, and we're going to be doing another video. This time it'll be Joker. This is my second favorite box. It has a really cool PrivEsc method that can be done a multitude of ways. And it gets its name because, well, Joker's wild. We use wildcards twice in the PrivEsc. But before we get to the PrivEsc, we have to get a shell. So let's jump into the box. So, like every other box, we have to start off with the nmap, so SV for enumerate version, SC save scripts, output all formats, and the IP address of Joker, which is 10.10.10.21. I've already ran this, so not going to do it again. Let's just look at the results. We see two ports, 22 SSH and 3128 for Squid. So, no HTTP port like we're used to saying, just a Squid, which is a HTTP proxy. Since I don't think there's that much of an attack surface, I'm going to run a few more nmaps and then do some enumeration. We do -p-, that's going to do all ports 1 through 65,535. A lot of ports, it takes a long time. So we'll name this all -TCP 10.10.10.21. We'll let this run, just see if it finishes by the time this video finishes. I'm guessing it's not going to. And we'll name this to nmap all TCP. Open up a new one. We also want to nmap for UDP ports. So -SU for UDP. And we'll name this UDP and 10.10.10.21. Not actually going to run this one because it takes some time to run. I already have the results and we'll review them in just a minute. But I want to keep poking at this squid to see exactly what it is and make sure nmap is telling me the truth. So we're pretending I'm running that UDP nmap in the background while we're looking at this. So we go to the IP import and we get a generic error message. So we know it's a HTTP proxy, so let's configure a browser to use that. Right click on my FoxyProxy, go to Options, Add New Proxy, and we'll specify the IP, which is 10.10.10.21, the port 3128. Go to this General tab and we'll name it Joker Squid. Click OK, close out, tell a browser to use this, and just go to the IP. We get prompted for a username and password, which we don't know. We try admin because who knows, maybe it's the default. And it says the password doesn't work, so let's go back and review our UDP nmap. So that's called udp.nmap. And we see it is listening on port 69 and 5355. 69's TFTP, so this will be where we want to start. And if you're super observant, you'll notice my nmap version changed from like 7.5 to 6.4. The reason for this is when I do like UDP or all port scans, I try to find a box on the HackTheBox network that has nmap installed and run it from there. Because that means I won't send the nmap through my VPN, which is slow. It's just staying within the HackTheBox network, and nmap scans go much, much faster. So, a little bit of a tip there. I think I ran that one from Banks since I just did Banks' video like 2 hours ago. But let's begin looking at TFTP. So we TFTP 10.10.10.21. And let's just try to get etc past WD. Access violation. Okay. Get etc squid.cfg. File not found. Get etc squid.config. File not found. Get etc squid. Doesn't return error message. So if I just did /etc, I know that doesn't exist. Access violation. So we're getting somewhere. So we know the etc squid directory exists. So etc squid squid.cfg. Not found. Get etc squid squid.conf. And it hangs. So open up a new window and let's look. We have files, and squid.conf is one of them. Looks like we have downloaded the file. So we're going to grep-v, do a caret to say at the beginning of the line, and then escape a hash. So we're Going to get rid of all lines that begin with this hash or pound sign. Okay, now we need to grep for a dot to say, hey, only give me lines that have content. And we get a good portion of that Squid config. What we do see is auth param basic, and it's using etc squid passwords. So let's try getting this file. Get etc squid passwords, receives the file, cat passwords, and we do have a hash. So calamari, and then APR1, and just the hash. So what I'm going to do is send this over to my Kraken to crack the password. You could probably use John or any version of Hashcat. I just have 4 GPUs, so I always use them when I can. So SHing to my box, the Kraken, CD Hashcat, CD hashes, we can just VI hashes / we'll name this HTB-squid, and we don't want to give it the username, we only want to give it the hash, so get rid of this. So before we crack this, we have to figure out what type of hash it is. How I normally do this is just go to Google, disable proxies. I'm going to do hashcat example hashes. Go to the first result, and we have a list of hash codes, the type of hash, and an example. I love having that example. So we just do that $APR, and we see the format here. It's an Apache APR MD5, so 1600 is what we need to know. You could have also done hashcat-h and grepped like APR and got it that way, but this doesn't give you the example hash, so I like having this example hash just so I know I'm feeding hashcat the way it was tested. So we do /hashcat to execute it, -m 1600, the hash file, which is hashes, and I did HTB-squid, and then the word list. I have my word list and opt word list. I'm just going to do rocku to start. See, it is initializing everything, and cracked. The password is I hate seafood. So, and the username was calamari, because we saw that I erased it from that. So if we cat the passwords file again, we see calamari : so username and password is calamari, I hate seafood. So now that we know the credentials, let's go to FoxyProxy again, go to options to edit our Squid proxy, and we can put the username, which was calamari, and the password was I hate seafood. I want to type that again for some reason, so I hate seafood. And when we go to 10.10.10.21, if our proxy was enabled, we don't get prompted for a username anymore. We can also go to 127.0.0.1 and get a page. Looking at our Kali box, I can prove that I'm not listening on that, because we see the only thing I'm listening on port is on port 8080, which is my burp. So what's happening is kind of like a server-side request forgery attack. That's SSRF. And this latest Black Hat, I think Black Hat 2017, the US edition, had a really good talk on server-side request forgery. Essentially, what it's doing is saying, hey, I go to a vulnerable web page, and I make that page go to a URL. And when that page does it, it's already behind the firewall. So with Squid, it's kind of like the same thing, except instead of a vulnerable page, we're telling, hey, Squid, you're running behind the firewall, go to 127.0.0.1, which is itself, and it accesses the page on its local host. So maybe that makes sense, maybe it doesn't. If it doesn't make sense, look up server-side request forgery, and I'm sure there'll be a good video on it. So the first thing I'm going to do now is disable FoxyProxy, because I don't like doing things through the browser. I like doing things through Burp. So we're going to add a upstream proxy, and destination host is going to be anything. Proxy host is going to be 10.10.10.21. The proxy port is going to be 3128. Authentication type is going to be basic, calamari, and I hate seafood. So now if I turn my Burp proxy, my Foxy proxy to use Burp, I should get the same results, and I do. So if I intercept on, okay. So this shorty application is not vulnerable. This is a false positive. What I did was go back into Burp, go to the Options tab, add a proxy listener, bind it to port, let's do 80, and redirect all those to 10.10.10.21, and redirect that to port 80. So now I have Burp listening on port 80, and everything it does, it sends it to the proxy. And actually, I think I need to redirect this to 127.0.0.1. So this looks really funny. But Burp's going to know when it redirects it to redirect it through the proxy. Let's see if that's valid. So curl 127.0.0.1. Go to Burp. And that didn't work. Let's see. Options. Request. Try enabling invisible proxy. So I don't know why Burp last time said the 10.10.10.21 when I did that get. So let's try that one more time with disabling invisible. And maybe that actually did it, but I don't think that would do anything. So looking at the request, we see get 127.0.0.1. I swear the very first time I did this, for some reason, it said 10.10.10.21. So yeah, it's not invisible proxy. I don't know what went on. I'll go back and watch the video, but I swear Burp said 10.10.10.21. Let's do a history tail 5. Curl. Yeah, I've only curled 127.0.0.1. So I don't know why I think Burp said that, but it did. Anyways, what I'm going to do now is I just realized I didn't clean up a word list because we're going to use dir search just like we do in other videos. So user share, word list, dir buster. And I'm going to use the bank video because this has about 1,000 lines. And we're going to just put what I know is console. That's the web page we want to go to. So we'll do /op dir search. If you don't have this, just Google dir search GitHub, and you should be able to find it and install it. So we're going to do that. Dir search.py word list is going to be user share dir buster bank-vid. This is really funny. I would recommend, if you didn't have anything, just using this medium that generally has a lot of entries. And the -u for URL, so HTTP 127.0.0.1. We need to do extensions with this, so we'll just do PHP, and threads, we'll do 20. So that's running. Let's turn intercept off. And we see a hit immediately on console. So the reason I could do this again is because HTTP 127.0.0.1 is going to Burp, which then forwards it to 127.0.0.1. But when it does the forward, it's going through this proxy. Bit confusing, but hopefully you can follow that. So we know /console and /list exist. And I don't actually know what /list is, so let's just see what that does. I'm guessing it's a list for the shorty thing. Yeah. So if we go to /console, we get a Python interactive console. Let's begin running Python commands. We're going to import OS, so we can do the popen command, which allows us to execute bash, and just do who am I to see what user we're running as. And then end that with a .read open and close parentheses. We see we are workzug. I guess, probably a bad pronunciation. The next thing I want to do is check which version of Netcat is running. If I can just do the -e, that'd be awesome. If not, then I have to go to PentestMonkey to figure out the syntax, because I don't know if that's top of my head. Didn't return anything, so let's try directing standard error to standard out, because for some reason we do -help flags, it goes to standard error. Not sure why, but yeah. So we see we're running the OpenBSD netcat, which means we do not have the -e flag. So go to PentestMonkey to do a reverse shell. Just Googling PentestMonkey reverse shell. Scroll down. This Python one would be good. However, we'd run into an issue, so we're just going to ignore that for now. And do this netcat. This says it works if you don't have the -e flag. So go back here. I'm going to add an ampersand to the end of this so it goes in the background and doesn't hang. Because if we ever hang a process, then we have to revert the box because this web service dies. So we want to send it on port 8081, and we need to get my IP address. And I am 10.10.14.13. So listen here on 8081. Run this. And we don't get anything. That's odd. This has always worked. So the next thing to do is I like doing TCP dump -I ton 0 for ICMP. ICMP is generally allowed through firewalls. So we can just try the ping to see if ping works. Again, leaving the ampersand there just in case the command never returns, we don't hang. I do -C4 to limit the amount of pings to 4. And when we run this, we see we're getting responses. So we do have a method to go from Joker to me. So that's good. But we don't have a way to go through TCP, which is weird. So next thing we're going to do is find the IP tables config to see if we can read it. If we can read it, then we can see what's going on and what protocols and ports we have access to. Because maybe we can't send a shell on 8081, but we may be able to do on 80 or 443. Who knows? So we want to see what blocks us. So I'm going to find and /etc. and I'm going to grep for IP tables. And we do see the rules are in IP tables rules v4 and IP tables rules v6. So I'm just going to try to get these through TFTP first. So let's just go TFTP 10.10.10.21 get access violation. So we can't use TFTP to get them. And we could probably find a way to clean up our output when we're running these Python commands because it's not doing line breaks. But one way I like doing things when I can only have one line is use base64. So I'm going to do base64-w0 to change my wrapping to 0. If I don't do this, it tries putting the base64 on multiple lines, which is not good. And then the file name, which is IP tables rules v4. And we can also, I think, do a space and do rules v6 as well. I think base64 will accept 2 files. We'll find out. It does not. Unless I made a typo. I don't have Etsy. Because I'm an idiot, apparently. So that doesn't work. There we go. Now we got IP tables version 4. Copy this. Go back to our shell. Okay, we can do IP tables v4.b64. paste your contents, base64-D to decode, and then IP tables v4.b64, and we get the output. So we see the input is set to drop. So if we don't have a rule, it drops it. So we're accepting port 22 for SSH. We're accepting 3128, which will be Squid. We're accepting UDP and accepting ICMP. So I guess we can do a UDP shell. The easiest way is to do what we just did with netcat. And we add the -u flag for UDP. So we do nc-lvnp-u 8081. nc-h UDP. I thought it was -u. C-E. Yeah, UDP mode. I guess it just wanted that in a separate thing, maybe. That was bizarre. So let's try this again. And we get a shell. Awesome. So the next thing, like always, python-c import pty, pty.spawn /bin sh to get us a better tty, and then we can background stty raw minus echo foreground with fg, and now we should be able to. We can't tab autocomplete. That's odd. Bash. There we go. Now we can tab autocomplete. Awesome. Clear, and clear works. Normally, when I get the shell, I would start running the scripts in this directory. It doesn't exist on your machine. Just Google each of these. But these are all good priv checking scripts. linenum, lin priv checker, and Unix PrivEsc. But that would make this video way too long. So I'm just going to cheat. I know it's going to be a sudo thing, so I just do sudo -l. And we see that the user may run the following commands on Joker as the Alekos user. Sudo edit var /wildcard/wildcard/layout.html. Joker's wild now makes sense for the machine name, or at least Joker does. And the other thing I did on this, which is kind of a hint, is if we do a dpackage-l for sudo, we see the version of sudo is 1.8.16. So search exploit sudo edit. We see an exploit for 1814. I went down this rabbit hole, realized it wasn't, saw this, realized it wasn't vulnerable, but turns out it is. There's two ways to do this. I'll show you both. This is the intended way. So if we look at this, we see it seems that sudo edit does not check the full path if wildcard is used twice. Does this look familiar? It should, because this looks almost exactly like what we just saw. And then down below it says if you create a symbolic link, it kind of follows it. So if you have two wildcards, you can do a SymLink, and when you do that, you can edit files that you're not supposed to. So we can demo that. But first, I want to show why this is vulnerable, because it says 1814. We're clearly beyond that. So if we Google this, it's going to go to the sudo edit check manual. And we can see what these flags are. The sudo edit checker, you can read if you want. That's not really applicable here. We want to check this sudo edit follow. Oh my god, don't tell me I went to the wrong page. We want the manual. And we can see the sudo edit follow was introduced in 1.8.15. So when they fix 1814, they're like, you know what? I guess there are times when people want to use sudo edit against symlinks, so if they want to, we'll create this flag for them, the sudo edit follow flag. So that's why the flag exists in 1815. It's because they patched the CVE, and if you wanted that functionality, enable this flag. So that's how we're still able to abuse this CVE. So if we go to in the testing directory, so we're in vir.dub, we're in this /dir, so we want to create a new one. So we're going to make dir IppSec. So now we're in IppSec. So now we satisfied both of these wildcards. So we can just do a ln-s to create a symbolic link. And if we do home alekos.ssh authorized keys, we should be able to edit this file. So symbolic link is created. We don't have the ability... Oh, no. Symbolic link is not created. We have to name this layout.html. So now if we cat layout.html, no file. Home Alekos. Did I make a typo? I don't think I did. Oh, the file doesn't exist yet. That's fine. So if we try to write to that file, we probably can't. Permission denied. Okay. That's more what I'm expecting. So let's do the sudo edit -u alekos /vir dub / what was it? Testing IppSec layout.html. Man, that's annoying. And we get a nano. So let's do on this box ssh-keygen to create an SSH key. We want to create it in /root documents htb joker sh_key, I guess. And if a no passphrase, and we create the key. So now we can do sshkey.pub. When we copy this file in the authorized key file, if we have the private key, we can SSH to it. And since we generate it, we do have the private key. Hit Control X to save. Save modified buffer, yes. And if we cat authorized keys, we now see we modified it because we were the Alekos user by sudo edit. So if we go to Joker box, ssh-i sh_key Alekos at 10.10.10.21, we get in. So we have SSH. But you wanted to see probably the other way to do this. The other way isn't through a CVE, and it wasn't intended, and it's my favorite way. This is how I did it the first time. So, let's see. I probably want to have more lines, yeah. So I don't like how this is doing that weird wrap. So let's see, echo columns, 80, go here, echo columns, 188. So if I do export columns equals 188, no. I thought that would do that. Export term equals screen. Okay, I'm not sure. So how I'm going to do this is we'll just do this in a different window and then copy and paste. That should be fine. So let's split my window. Sudo-L. Go down. So here, I'm going to go into /home Alekos, since I can go in his home directory. So the key thing to hear for this exploit is we're taking advantage by setting our current working directory. And this will make more sense in just a second. So we do sudo edit -u Alekos, and then we're going to do /vir/dub/. So this piece is now satisfied. With the wildcard, we can do whatever we want. So I can do a space, then I can do .ssh, and we satisfied this wildcard now. So if I do a slash, authorized keys. We satisfy that slash and this wildcard. If I do another space, slash layout.html, I now have satisfied this whole thing. And when nano gets 3 parameters, it edits 3 different files. So if we copy this, go up here, paste, we get in as well. When we Control X to close, it wants us to edit another file. Just exit again, and we see it did sudo edit against 2 files. So that was that way to do the box. So what's left is getting root. The trick to getting root is the backup folder. So we look into backup and get a permission denied because I'm going through netcat, not SSH. So remember when I did the authorized key file the very first time, created and logged in? This is that session. So if I do a who am I here, I see I am Alekos, if this actually returns. There we go. And going to my netcat, who am I? Workzug. So go to my SSH, and we should be able to go into backups. And do a LSLA, we can see that a backup is being created every 5 minutes on the dot, and they are owned by root. That is odd. So let's look at what's in a backup. So we do tar xevf. Probably be quicker just to copy and paste. Not in gzap. Oh, what is the flag for gzap? J's BZ too. Let's just gunzip -d. Oh man, drawing a blank. Okay, these are tar, not gzip. The gz is a lie. That's weird. So tar xvf /dev. So we can see it is just backing up what is in the development folder every 5 minutes. And it looks like someone else has been on this machine. Can I delete these files? Yes, I can. So this is what it should look like. Look at the date. So it just did a backup, so we have about 5 minutes until the next one runs. So since it's doing a backup every 5 minutes, the very first thing we'll do is the first way. So we can archive off this development folder, and then I need -s, I think. Root development. So what I did there is created a symbolic link to development, and when it follows, hold on, explaining is hard sometimes. So when the tar command goes to archive or backup development, the symbolic link is directing it to /root. So in 5 minutes, we should be able to go to backup and see the contents of the root directory. You could also do that with like Etsy and get the shadow file and then crack the password. There's another way to get command execution, but it'll probably take more than 5 minutes to explain, so while explaining, that's running in the background. When you do a wildcard, and this machine's going really slow, but it's not just passing the wildcard to the binary. What the wildcard's doing is essentially a ls of the directory, and it's passing all of these arguments to this binary. So if one of these arguments, these files, was an argument, it will pass that to the binary, if that makes sense. So we do ls star, and it just does ls like that. So if we did touch -la and do ls star, now it pipes that -la to ls, and we change the command. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. So again, ls star, but when we do the stir, it's executing LA. You can also see there's no dash LA here because it wasn't treated as a file. It was treated as an argument. So that's the dangers of wildcard and what you should take away from this box. And notice when I removed the dash LA, I put a dot slash in front of it so it didn't treat that as an argument. So if we go to, I think it's defense code. Yeah, Terra wildcard. This blog post talks about it. So you can just Google defense code wildcard and find it. But it talks about chown tar, this dash dash checkpoint. And what it's doing is actually allowing you to execute a script from a tar argument. So, let's see. Has it been 5 minutes yet? Nope, we got 2 minutes. So, we're going to touch dash dash dash, what was it? Checkpoint equals 1. Oh no, dash dash. Man, my connection is going so slow. So what this dash dash is doing is actually just saying, hey, there's going to be no arguments after this. So if I just did like touch dash dash checkpoint equals 1, it's probably going to say, I have no idea what you're trying to do. Yeah, unrecognized option. It doesn't know what that argument is. So this dash dash says, hey, this isn't going to be an argument. This is going to be a file. Create it. And we see that dash dash checkpoint has been created. The next file we want to create is got a space in it, so I'm going to do a single quote. I'm going to do checkpoint dash action equals exec equals sh. They do dot slash? No, they just did shell. So shell.sh. So we do ls here, and we can see we have both of these created. The next thing we have to do is actually create the shell.sh file. I don't have v. So bin bash, and we can go back to this, copy our ver shell we used earlier, and whenever you see me doing the paste and it's not working and then I do paste again without copying, it's because I'm hitting Control Shift Insert, and you have multiple clipboards on your computer, so Control Shift Insert and Shift Insert are different clipboards, if that makes sense, and you'll get different results. I can't do DD to delete a line. Okay. So let's see. We can make these separate lines. That looks fine. So we're going to write shell.sh. The other thing I'm going to do is run set against this, and we're going to change temp/f to temp/I. So we can see that's changed. It looks fine. And then -I. The reason I'm doing that is because temp/f already existed, and I'm using it for this shell, so I just didn't want to step on myself. And if we... Oh no. Oh no. Tmux... I don't know how to resume tmux. And I minimize tmux. There we go. Awesome. So we are back in. Whew. That was scary. So where was I? Let's go back up. That's definitely been 5 minutes now. So do ls. We can move this dev this one, the latest one, to extract, and then tar xvf dev, and we get root.txt. So that's one way to do it, but we wanted to get an actual shell. So let's see what time it is. We have 1.5 minutes, so go back one more directory, v. We can just delete that, and then we can move the development.back to development. So we have, when it does that tar star, it's going to run this checkpoint, and then this checkpoint action, and this shell.sh. So let's look at this. 10.10.14.13. ifconfig. I'm still that IP, so lvnp 8082-u. Do I have that as 8082? I do not. So let's change this. Don't have v. It is 8082. Can I not read? Cat test sh. Do I have a shell.sh too? Oh, that's bloody confusing. So, and it's using shell.sh. So let's just cp test.sh to shell.sh. Okay. And I missed the window. Oh my god, that sucks. So, we gotta wait 5 minutes. I'm going to stop the video and then splice it back up so you're not sitting here waiting and watching me wait 5 minutes. So it's been a few minutes, and while this is going, let's just examine what that backup.sh was doing, or the backup script. So we see it doing a cd home Alekos development, then it's doing a tar, there's the wildcard, and then ch owning the backup, and then exiting. So I bet. No, never mind. I was thinking if we deleted this the development folder, then the tar may just back up where it is, but no. Oh no, it will. Yeah, we'll do that next. We're going to delete this development folder and then see exactly what gets backed up. It should be the current working directory of root. So there's going to be 3 different ways you can get root or get the root.txt. Looking at the date though, we got about 1 minute left until the netcat session. So hopefully this one will work. Development. So we're going to do checkpoint 1. It's going to do that. We'll just chmod plus x on shell.sh. Let's do a netcat on -u. That's fine. My netcat is -u on 8082. Everything's fine. So in 30 seconds, I should get a shell. So let's see. When that sleep is finished, I will have a shell. Come on. I should have done a for loop and did like a fancy countdown. Maybe? The time always goes slower when you are watching it. And I did not get a shell, so I screwed something up. Oh, nope, there we go. Got it. So, I am root. Awesome. So, there's another way. And then the final way we're going to do this is simply just moving this development folder and not doing a SymLink. So move development to development.back, and we're going to wait 5 minutes. So again, gonna stop the video and create a new one so I can splice this third PrivEsc in, because I don't want to just sit around and have you wait for my commands to finish, because this takes forever. 4 minutes, yeah. So we're almost there. We got about 30 seconds left until the cron runs, and we see if anything happened. So let's go back into the backup folder, do ls-la, and we see the last ones failed because we were doing the reverse shell, I'm guessing. So we should get one more file, and we'll see what happens if you delete the development folder. A backup, and it's just about the same size as when we did the SymLink. So I would guess that we got the flag. It's not what I wanted. I want extract to. Tur, xvf, and yes, we got it. So again, what happened was this script runs every 5 minutes, and it did a cd home Alekos development. This cd failed because development did not exist, so cd failed, and it never changed directories. And then it runs a tar command, tar cf home Alekos backup file name. This is the backup name, and that just does star. It says, hey, back up everything in my directory. So that was the third way to get the root flag. Hope that makes sense. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know this was a bit all over the place, and I just realized I didn't hide that bar up to the top when I resumed. Oh well. Take care. I'll see you guys in probably a week when the next box retires. Actually, one last thing. I remembered. Just as I was about to shut down my PC, we have an Nmap going that I want to look at. So let's see if that all finished. It has not. It has been going. I took a break in the middle of this video, but 7 hours, 51 minutes remaining. I started this 3 hours ago. So that is how long this -p- takes. I didn't even specify the -sc flags or anything. So that is long. That is a long time for Nmap, and that's why I generally sneak onto another box to run it. So, yep. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.